Alright guys, we're going to check out this Marlin 1895 today, chambered in 4570. Huge thanks to my good friend Brad for loaning it for the review today, and for the hand loads to shoot it. We got some 350 grain soft points here, flat nose. Then we got some 325 grain FTX here. These are all hand loads. There's your stats on those for those who are interested.
So I did start shooting with this optic up here, but it was way off. It took me way too many shots to realize that. So we're actually going to jump ahead here in a second to another location where I do some iron sight shots and get my shotgun scope mounted up on there, start getting it zeroed in. And then we come back down here to do some long range shots. And you definitely won't want to miss that because this thing is shooting fantastic. And regarding the 350 grain hand loads, they didn't seem to want to chamber. I was having trouble getting the lever to close all the way on several of those, so I had a dead trigger. So you will not see those in this video.
And for those who would want to know, this is a Remlin. So this was a Marlin manufactured by Remington while they owned Remington. Of course, Ruger owns Marlin now, so we'll see how good it shoots. Go ahead and get the trigger weight for you guys while she's cooling off there. That's a pretty nice trigger. Let me make sure I'm empty here. Yeah, that would suck. Not really any creep or anything to speak of. That's a little heavier than I would like, but it's not heavy by any means, so we'll get a weight in just a second. I've noticed all the Marlins have this flippy floppy trigger there until you get her on the wall there. So go ahead and pull through, see if there's any creep, which I did not notice any. Okay, I'm going to start applying pressure now. Yep. Let me get a weight measurement for you. Alright, let's see what we got here. I'm guessing somewhere in the 4-pound neighborhood is about what it felt like to me. It could be 5s, but 4 pounds, 5 ounces. £4 1, pulled it a little quicker that time. So yeah, low 4-pound neighborhood. Okay, so we're at a new location now. I'm not sure how I have the video edited up until this point, but down at the long range, I found out that this thing was very, very off. I was shooting 50 or 100 yards and it was extremely low right. And by the time I realized that we were running out of daylight and whatnot, so we're picking up here, and I will make it back out to that longer range to take some further range shots, 2, 3. I might even have a 400-yard video coming up if I can manage it. But we're down here now to get this thing zeroed, and I actually have permission from Brad to take this guy off, which I'll probably do. I might rudimentarily zero it for him, but I did want to shoot it some with just the iron sights, so I'm going to pop that off and do that now. And I actually brought out a shotgun scope I'm going to put up on here to get it really finalized, do some groups with it out here. We can reach out to 100 yards on this location, and then like I said, we'll go back down to the other range and try some longer range shots with it. But I'm going to pop this guy off here and let's do some iron sight shooting first. Okay, I got that up off of there, and it looks like these are, as expected, fully adjustable. You got a screw on both sides there, and then it looks like this just twists up and down for your elevation, and then the screws on the side for your windage adjustments. But I'm going to go ahead and start out center mass on that pink target there at 25 yards and see where we're at with the irons. There's a link in the description of the shooting bag here if you guys want to get yourself one, along with everything else I use in the videos. Wow, I'm surprised. Looks like she holds 6. We'll get started here, but I want to show you guys the sight if I can real quick. Interesting sight. So obviously it's kind of like a peep sight design, but that's actually a large ring. So if I can, I don't know if I can get low enough. That's not too bad. It's a pretty big ring, and I can't quite get it to where it looks like what it does to me, but that's pretty close right there. So those are a real quick acquisition there. So it's like a, again, you know, peep sight-esque, but with a really large rear ring for really quick sight acquisition there. So it won't be great for precision long range, but super awesome for inside of 100 yards here. Plus, like I said, we'll do it at the other range, but I'm sure I could shoot that at least 200 yards with the irons. All right, shoulder, get ready. I'm gonna aim 6 o'clock on that yellow oval in the center. Now that's not a shoot and see, so I don't know if we can see that hole from here. Oh yeah, okay. Pretty close to where I aimed. Let me take one more. Like I said, I was aiming 6 o'clock, but that is close range. It's 25 yards, but it looks pretty well lined up there. And that one was a little lower still, so pretty central though. So low from there. Like I said, adjustable, but it probably has some bullet rise further out, like 50 yards. Well, we got that 50-yard target out there. That is a shoot and see. So let me pick a spot to aim on this, which I guess we're low, but just hold it somewhere in the middle to see if that bullet rises up. Hopefully it does, so I don't hit my stand there. And that target stand's awesome. I use that in like all my videos. Again, that's linked in the description as well. Yeah, I should be able to do decent on that. That little white stripe going up that front blade really helps line it up there. So this won't be my best shooting. You know, it might help a little if I put my glasses on, or it may not because it's kind of like a peep sight. But let me see here. Yep, it's one of those scenarios where I can see better without my glasses because I got to focus through that ring. I think I actually see the hole at the bottom there. Okay, so she's low. I need to bring her up. Okay, so upon further inspection and trying to adjust this sight, those screws on the side actually just pinch that in place. I was trying to turn it and it didn't want to turn. Now that I backed both those out, it kind of clamps onto the side of that internally. Now I'm able to twist that for elevation. And so this should just be like a, oh shit. Yeah, I just moved it. I thought I was going to have to tap that, but apparently it holds that thing in place too with those screws. So I don't know if maybe one allows that to move and the other allows that to move, but I backed them both out and I'm now able to move that back and forth and screw that up and down. Now this is where a lot of you are going to be, read the owner's manual, dummy, but I wasn't provided with an owner's manual with this one. I could have looked it up, but we're out here figuring it out. All right, going back to 25 here to make sure I don't miss any.
So we got our zeroed here, and I finalized at 50, but I'm going to go ahead and skip that for you guys. Skip ahead to hitting some steel here, because we still got to do the scope next.
Start hitting some of the steel now. I'm kind of limited on what I can hit out here with the power of the 4570. I'll try that guy. It might knock it over, but I see John put it at an angle, so it might be okay. And then we got that half scale silhouette, third scale, whatever it is, back there at 75. And then I put my big gong back there. I'm going to hit the one on the right because it's 3/8" steel at 100 yards. And then I get to throw the scope up there and do it all over again. Oh, and I was going to say, you know, I'm not very good with iron sights, to be completely honest with you. So the groups I'm getting there at 50 yards off of irons, that speaks pretty well for the accuracy. So hopefully I can improve that some once I get the scope up there, but it seems like this is a pretty dang good shooter, even for being a rimlin. All right, try that guy at 50. Like I said, that little, oh, it's an 8" maybe swinger there. Hit the guy at 75 behind him, the silhouette, and then go out to the gong twice. Did I change? Yeah, I changed. All right. 75 behind them. I'll swing over to 100 there. See if I can get you zoomed in for the last one there. Alright, here we go. Center mass, 100 yards. Good girl. Okay, we got the scope up on there, looking pretty sexy if I do say so myself. I had to screw the sight back down, 14 turns all the way down. You can see we do just barely have clearance there. So thankfully I was able to get that guy screwed down far enough. So I'm gonna get this thing zeroed in and then see what kind of group we can get with it. And that CV Life might look familiar there. I had a shotgun video with it, and then it was up on my 20 gauge after the 12 gauge torture test, and you can check more of that out on the original review anyways in the parts, accessories, and optics playlist on the channel. The original review has the 12 gauge torture test, and then I had it up on my Winchester SXP Black Shadow video as well, and now we got it on the 4570. Pretty robust little optic there.
Zeroing the scope here, which I'm going to get through that real quick for you guys. But I just wanted to go ahead and show you these iron sight shots here down here at 50 now that we're zoomed in. You can see I got 2 or 3 there stacked just low right of the center oval. My final adjustment before we started hitting steel with it put that last shot just on the right edge of that center oval there. So that was my results with the iron sights. Like I said earlier, especially for me, that's pretty dang good accuracy, especially considering that includes an adjustment there to get it on bullseye. Pretty good for me on iron sights. I am way better with scopes. But I got the scope pretty close here, so we'll take 2 or 3 shots here, and then I give it a final adjustment to get it on bullseye, and I'll show you guys that real quick. Hit some more steel, and then we'll go down to the longer range. And it's at that longer range where you're going to see a really tight freaking group if you stay tuned. As you can see there, 2 stacked under that center oval with the scope. We'll go ahead and take 1 more here to verify and to kind of make it a 3-shot group. And that one was right in the middle there. It split those 2 existing shots under the oval in the center.
It is just stacking them there at 50 yards. And for anyone that skipped ahead, it's the Hornady FTX or whatever it is. They got the little rubber tips, Lever Evolution, but they're hand loads, and that's the stats on those. But it is just stacking them there at 50, so this thing shoots pretty dang good. Okay, so I'm 4 low at 50, so I'm giving it, what's that going to be, 8 times 4, 32 clicks up. 32 up.
Watch this thing go right in the middle after that adjustment. There's 2 little 22 caliber holes in the middle there, but it just splats right on top of them.
I think that tells you all you need to know right there about not only the rifle, but the optic. Alright, down at the other range now. After I warm up here, I got my target down there at 100. I'll send some down there for you guys, see what kind of group we can manage. I'm going to go for this 20-inch gong here at 200 to start. Yeah, this thing shoots. It's 2 practically touching at 200 yards. And I'm only getting a few inches of drop out there because we got a 50-yard zero, but I'm only getting about 3 inches of drop out there at 200. Take one more zoomed in for you guys here. I don't think I need to shoot groups at 100. That's insane. All three touching at 200 yards there. All three touching at 200. Alright, I got a gong out there, 300 yards. I'm a little afraid to hit it with this. It's only 1/4 inch steel, and if you guys seen the recent video, I just got that. My old one was all shot up from hitting it with stuff I shouldn't have been hitting it with. 700 foot-pounds of energy limit on that. This 4570, if these were factory Hornady lever evolution loads, would be about 1,000 foot-pounds of energy out there at 300. I'm wondering if these are hotter though. They thump pretty good on the shoulder. Like I said, based on a 50-yard zero, we should have been 11 low there at 200, and we're only like 3-4 inches low, so that makes me think they might be a little hotter. So I'm only going to take one shot at this in case it puts a big fat dent in it. Again, that's only 1/4 inch steel. So with that 50-yard zero, I'm supposed to be about 40 inches low out there at 300, but we weren't as low as we were supposed to be at 2, so I'm not going to aim quite that high. Okay, so interesting, at 300, it went just under it there. So it was about 40 inches low at 300, according to the mil dots on my scope. So I don't know why it's not dropping very much at 200, but at 300 yards there, it is dropping about 40 inches. So I'm going to come up a few inches and we should have it. Dead center. Alright, here is those 200-yard shots. You can see the 300-yard gong back there. This is just absolutely insane. That thing, geez, literally hit the same spot 3 times. I can't even distinguish 3 different impacts. So it's kind of hard. Maybe that's one there, and then there's one there, and then one there. So I mean, at most, that's like, because you gotta remember that, you know, it's chipping paint off around the bullet. The bullet impacts like here, but it chips all that paint off. So even if we had one clear down here and then one clear up here in the center of that, that's like 1.5 inches at 200 yards. So very easily sub MOA there. And that's just crazy for a big caliber like that. Usually the bigger calibers are not that accurate. So there's the 250 mount and 300 here. We got to check this guy out. It almost looked like it dented it. So I hope not, but we'll find out here. All right, like I said, pretty much dead center. I think it's like 1 inch off to the left, but, and again, this is only rated for 700 foot-pounds of energy. No dent on the front. Wow, there's nothing on the back either. All right, cool. So maybe not 1,000 shots like that, but that's good to know. It can handle 45. I was worried because, like, I've shot these with 223 at 100 yards, 5.56, and it doesn't really do anything to it, even though it exceeds the 700 foot-pounds of energy, and it's going really fast. This is obviously going a lot slower, but I was worried with that big 325 grain bullet if it might dent it, but we are good there. So now I'll have a 400-yard video coming up shortly after this one, so make sure you stay tuned for that. Make sure you're subscribed and got your bell notifications on so you don't miss it. Anyway, she's a beaut. Shoots great. Love it. If you guys want to get yourself any of the products you see me use in my videos, like my target stand down there, shoot and see targets I use, steel targets, this bag here, safety glasses, earmuffs, rangefinder, way more. Links in the description for all that. And for things I cannot link to on YouTube, make sure you check out my campsite page, which is also linked under the video. But thanks for stopping by, checking this one out today, guys. Really appreciate it. And I hope to catch you on the next one.